Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to another Sunday edition of Revive. Today, we're going to talk about what does it mean to be fully aware according to Scripture. We're in a really unfortunate point in our society where because we don't really have a process anymore, because we don't really have a pecking order, or because we don't have any structure anymore. There's a lot of people walking around, and I'm speaking specifically to the younger crowd, because the younger crowd, like people 24 and under, are have been on the receiving end of people, like influencers, teachers, telling them that they can just be like whatever and whoever they want, and they don't have to work for it. They don't have to do shit. They don't they can just be free to be, which is something that I talk about a lot, and it's something that I always highly encourage people is to be authentically who you are. What whatever you like, whatever you dislike, is part of who you are, and that's okay. But there comes a point where there has to be a balance. There has to be a line drawn. You can't just be whatever you want and do whatever you want, right? But a lot of people, especially younger people, take a lot of pride in that. They take they take a lot of pride in, just doing and feeling and believing whatever they want, and then whatever that thing is that they decide that they want it to be. Now, now they start to gain some comfort out of that. Now they start to inherit some kind of an inflated ego about it, right? Which is something that I talked about yesterday. And as a result, there's a ton of people, that are just completely unaware of like who they are or who they really are, and how they might come across to other people. And I'll give you an example. Celebrities, right? Like you watch any interview, any press conference, like any like little video that they might do on Instagram. You can tell that they're so ingrained into that culture, and into like whom like the platform that they created for themselves, that they're just completely out of touch with the rest of the world, what the rest of the world has to deal with, what the average American has to deal with right now, especially in these times that we're in. And you see it, and you can't help when you look at that, you can't help but go, man, this this is insane, or like, I mean, I just watched, and you guys have probably seen it too, this press conference with Steve Kerr in relation to, and for those of you that don't know, Steve Kerr, he's, I don't know much about basketball, but he's some NBA coach. And what's really funny about that press conference is that at the beginning of it, he decided that he didn't want to talk about basketball, even though like that's the whole point of that's the NBA. I mean, that's a basketball association, right? But you don't want to talk about basketball. He wanted to talk about something else, and that something else that he wanted to talk about is the recent Ulvade school shooting. I'm not really sure how you pronounce the city, but the shooting that just happened, right? Which I'll go into more detail about in tomorrow's episode, because tomorrow, guess what's going to happen? I'm gonna put out another episode, talking about the Second Amendment, which I'm sure you guys will be stoked to watch tomorrow. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about the recent shooting that happened tomorrow. But going back to the Steve Kerr conference, at like when I got to the end of that conference that he did, I couldn't help but just think, man, I honestly like want to beat this guy's face in. He's retarded. He's a fucking moron. And he's just one out of millions of examples. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily millions. It could just be in the thousands. It could be a small percentage of people that like have never either have never had to live in the real world or haven't had to live in the real world in a really long time, and so they're just completely out of touch with everybody around them. Um, but he's just one out of many examples of people that are just not like like they're just out of touch. They don't know. They can't really see how the way that they carry themselves or what comes out of their mouth appears to the rest of the world. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get into um, Romans 7:15, which says, "I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate to do, I do." So um, it's what Paul is talking about there is basically the state of the average person of faith. I don't want to say a Christian necessarily, because anytime I hear the word Christian thrown around, I automatically think like part of the Christian cult. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is about people of faith, or people that try to live a life of integrity. And how can you really live a life of integrity if you're not fully aware of your shortcomings, of what you need to work on personally in your own life? Because I've seen it time and time again my whole life, of people that just walk around and they distribute really shitty behaviors, and then later on have no remorse. They don't apologize afterwards, and it's because they have this inflated ego that I always talk about. And I'm no different. I'm not a saint. I'm not saying that I've never done this in my own life, because I have, and I still continue to you know um, sometimes I'll make a scene, and then I just won't have any, like, I just won't, like, I just don't, sometimes I don't feel like I have anything to apologize for. And then and then sometimes it'll take a while. I would say, if I start acting out, or I start acting in a negative way that affects people negatively, it'll roughly take me around a few days before it starts to settle in, and I start to go, oh man, probably wasn't the smartest thing for me, like, probably wasn't smart of me to say that, or for me to explode like that, right? So anyway, I just wanted to make a quick Sunday episode about it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure that you subscribe to me on YouTube at Collectively Fearless. My Instagram handle is itsmanny_ice. And then make sure that you share this content with your friends and your family if you thought that this brought value and think that it could uh, provide value in their lives too. And then also go check out my sponsor, OSNAP. Great health and wellness company and a lot of great products. So anyway, guys, we're already at 9 minutes. I tried to keep this about 8 minutes or less, but I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure that you do all of the things that I just mentioned a few seconds ago. So anyway, guys, until tomorrow, I will see you again soon.